Hey guys, this is Ross with 714 Ministries International. Today is day 12, Proverbs 12. If you hear some noise in the background, the guys are mowing the lawn, so good for them. They needed to, it was getting high. Well, let's look at some of the topics. As I did yesterday, I'm going to continue to do this all the way through the rest of the book of Proverbs as I introduce the thoughts that are contained within each day, so that you'll have a perspective of, if I read this proverb, this is what I'm going to be hearing about. So here they are. Here's a list of topics that are mentioned and talked about sometimes more than once in Proverbs chapter 12. First of all, a teachable spirit, saying I'm willing to learn. Have a listening ear and a ready heart to receive whatever you're being taught. We all have something we can learn every day, maybe from this video, right? Being firmly planted and deeply rooted. Man, being strong and withstanding when the storms come because you're deeply rooted and firmly planted. That's cool. It talks about marriage. It talks about your thought life. It talks about telling the truth versus lies. It talks about how to live a life that's commendable. It talks about humility versus arrogance. Caring for nature. It actually specifically talks about how to care for animals and what kind of person mistreats an animal. That's really cool. Self-expression. Words we say and how we say it. Diligence versus laziness. And it also talks about friendships. And a very interesting topic that's part of our world in a real way, a lot, is anxiety and depression and how people are helped when they're anxious or depressed. So there's some great wisdom there. But now let's look at verse 11, because this is the verse that stuck out to me as I was reading this, and then I wanted to share it with you. Proverbs 12, verse 11. He who tills his land will be satisfied with bread, but he who follows frivolity is devoid of understanding. Now, people always look, and grass is always greener in someone else's garden, right? And everybody else always has it better. I have a guy at work, I'm not going to say his name, but he's just a constant complainer. That's just his M.O. He complains and whines about everything. He's done better at times, but it's very frustrating because you don't want to hear it. It's like, man, we're all dealing with stuff. It's okay once in a while to express some maybe dissatisfaction or issue, but when you're a constant complainer and whiner, nobody wants to hear that, right? In other words, appreciate what you have is one of the ideas that I got from this when it says, he who tills his land. Thank God you have land. You say, my land doesn't produce very well. I'm trying to get ahead, but I'm just not. Keep trying. Keep pressing forward. The hand of the diligent shall be made rich. That's another verse in Proverbs. So just realize God's giving you something. Here's another thought. You ready? Do the most with what you have. Just do the most with what you have. So he who tills his land will be satisfied with bread, but he who follows frivolity is devoid of understanding. One of my struggles, and I've deleted this game off my phone 4 or 5 times. And I keep doing that until I learn to not let the game absorb my time. Also, I have to be very careful because this game, I'll play it and I'm like, okay, I'm going to try one more time and win, It's like, seriously? You got more important things to do. And I'm not saying I spend hours on it, but I'm saying I just spend too much time for me because there's too many other things that are way more important than playing a game on my phone. What about you? Is it scrolling? Don't give in to frivolity. Don't give in to time wasters. Enjoy them for a moment. But I've taught my kids this and I've done this. You're going to play a game, you're going to watch videos, you're going to do something, put a timer on your phone. When the timer goes off, the game goes off. When the timer goes off, now it's time to go do something else. There's good and bad in all these things that we have in our world. We have a life that's more leisurely than any generation can ever dream or experience, right? We've been gifted and given more since the Industrial Revolution on to this day of technology and the bursts of technology and how it eliminates so much hardship and makes it so much easier. It's just amazing. There's nothing wrong with enjoying a moment. There's nothing wrong with playing a game. There's nothing wrong with viewing some videos. As long as they're good videos, there's nothing wrong with that. But what's wrong is when they consume us. And that's what I call frivolity. As we close out, though, there's an illustration. And I wrote this in my Bible. In verse 11, if you were to read my Bible, you would see this right here. As I read this, 2 different stories from my childhood came to mind. First was the little red hen. She was the one that wanted to bake a cake or bake a pie or something. And she would ask all her neighbors in the farmyard to help her. Nobody wanted to. They were too busy, or they were having fun, or it wasn't important. But then when the pie was done, everybody wanted a piece, and she's like, you didn't want to help me do all the work. You don't get to enjoy all the benefits, right? By the way, we live in a world that just wants the benefits but doesn't want to do the work. Don't be that person. Don't be the leech on society. Be the producer, be the giver, be the helper, be the difference maker. Don't be the leech. But the other story that came to mind was the ant and the grasshopper. So I watched a couple of short videos on YouTube to sort of reacquaint myself with the story. And basically the ants were disciplined, toiling, hardworking, and also preparing for the future. So they were doing everything all of us should be doing, right? They were doing the best with what they had. They were gathering for today. Yeah, it was hard work. They could still enjoy their evenings, but they had to work all day long in the sun. The grasshopper was the antagonist in the story. He's the undisciplined, the frivolous, the carefree, and actually at times mocking the ants for working so hard when they can be having so much fun until winter came. Until winter came. And he was always wrapped up in the present. He wasn't planning for the future. And as you watch the story, the ants then, when winter comes, they stay in the ant kingdom, and they're warm, and they're fed, and they're blessed. And the grasshopper in his little house, according to the stories when you watch him, is dying. He has no food to eat. Winter has shut off all opportunity to go out and do anything. He has nothing, no resources, no opportunities to even be fed. And he goes to the ants, and they're like, wait a minute. This is what we were telling you. Because when he would mock them, they're saying, you mock us now, but one day you're going to need something. You should work like we're working, and then you can relax like we're relaxing. You should work hard now and have fun later. By the way, I've taught my kids that. Don't say they always do it, but I hope they do. And I hope you kids, as you watch these videos, because I'm literally making these videos mostly just for my own children, I hope you remember that it work first, play later, right? By the way, when you do that, your play is much more relaxing because you're playing carefree without having these priorities over your head saying, oh, I can't play very long because I still have to do X, Y, and Z. No, because when you do the work first and you knock out X, Y, and Z, you don't have this burden laying over you when you're trying to have fun, and you can have fun. It robs you of your joy because you know, man, I still have some responsibilities left to do. So that's today, Proverbs 12, day 12. Hope it was a blessing. Share, like, subscribe, and pass this on. Have a good day.